Hello, my name is Kathy, and today I'll be discussing Saturn in Scorpio. But before I do this, I wanted to let you know that because I have a great many videos now on many different topics, that I've decided to make several different video playlists so that it's easy to find the videos of greatest interest. So please check out my playlist page. Saturn in Scorpio people tend to hide things that they feel are inferior about them deep inside of themselves. Some of these things that they hide are passions that they bury deeply inside of themselves, but since they are still there, they still govern their thoughts and actions, even if from the background. Intense emotions and passions tend to obscure reason, and for this reason these people feel that they must be fought. No compromise being possible. Instinctual, passionate drives that cause evil within them must be openly discredited and not glossed over. However, a direct onslaught does not work since the fight strengthens both sides of the good versus evil situation, and their faults continue victoriously, because that is what suppressed emotions that is driven into the subconscious does. So, what is needed is to first work to establish the good, and secondly, reduce the inner conscience battle by recognizing that the passion has some reason for being there, some form of validity. In essence, they must find something positive, some benefit from these intense, passionate emotions that have been repressed. Such as them being a natural, though unsocial instinct, the shadow of the Saturn in Scorpio person exists. Accept it, and come to terms with it. Basically, make friends with it, and then simply don't feed it anymore. These people have intense feelings that they bury deep inside of themselves that cause tremendous pressure. This pressure, which can be used as a driving force, may burst forth either fruitfully or to cause havoc. The cause of the pressure is their own retentiveness. The constant accumulation without letting it out in some way leads eventually to overload and ultimately collapse. Saturn in Scorpio people can feel bitter resentment towards anyone who hurts them and harbor a grudge for many years before they finally get the revenge they desire. However, this method of handling these intense repressed emotions does nothing to improve the state of their overall emotional health and could give them quite a bad time, even when buried out of sight. Out of sight is not out of mind. Some of these people may have grown up under a strict disciplinarian's rule and had to keep their mouths shut and take it, no matter how bad they felt, or how much they wanted to fight back or speak on their own defenses. These people were most probably subjected to strong, even severe parental discipline in puberty. This may have left them with doubts about their adequacy as an emerging adult, but with an intense drive to prove themselves within the system in the long run. This may cover resentment and frustration which would like to blow up the system, or at least transform it from the inside. When left to its own devices, the fantasy life of a Saturn in Scorpio person can be filled with violent anger, violence, and rage, as these intense repressed emotions get the chance to express themselves, usually scaring the hell out of the Saturn in Scorpio person, which is yet another lesson they work so hard to keep them buried within themselves. Fear of what would happen if they allowed them out. Saturn in Scorpio people's attitudes towards sex are rather Victorian, seeing it as evil, meaning feeling guilty about it, or they enter into it passionately in a very earthy fashion, exploring all the deep recesses of sexuality in the extreme. In the first case, the self-control of these people is extreme, while in the second, a tendency to manipulate others to get what they want must be avoided, allowing the natural seriousness of their feelings to be expressed openly rather than bottling them up. Saturn in Scorpio people's involvement with others' money also displays their unconscious feelings, whether they manipulate to get it or feel they can't have anything from them, or are simply aware of the reasonable social rules and restraints here, these people may often have to handle other people's money through their work, in legal matters, or legacies. In a nutshell, these people are basically cautious or fearful in evaluating their relationships with others, whether that be the world, people they relate to, or their own subconscious minds. The intensity of the fear of these people feel creates reserve and suspicion, which drives a wedge between the two. This restrains the natural human desire to have full, close contact with others. There always seems to be the need for a protective wall that restricts enthusiastic movement towards contact with others. Full maturity enables them to stand alone, unconcerned, if need be, or to relate in depth and seriousness. Saturn in Scorpio people's health may be indifferent in the early years, but once maturity is reached, their physical stamina may be exceptional. However, unless the energies at their disposal are directed towards higher aims, sex may be a problem and lead to health difficulties. Someone's sudden death is likely to bring about major changes in their lifestyle at some point. These people have trouble learning from their mistakes. As a result, they have probably made the same serious mistake in their life more than once. Very often these people are plagued with complexes about wealth, sex, and power, which are apt to create serious personal difficulties. Saturn in Scorpio people have the ability to keep secrets so that a reserved exterior may conceal a very active inner life. The character of these people is deep, subtle, masterful, and extremely difficult to fathom. These people have a knack for business and finance that may pay off very well at some point in their lives, especially if investments are made in mines, oil wells, and the excremental industries and recycling, which breaks down substances and produce waste products that must be disposed of. The ambition to make money that resides in these people is fed by desire for the control that money brings. It is about the ability to influence people by pulling strings behind the scenes. The slow, persistent, and indirect action that ultimately leads to the attainment of the power sought, that was the goal all along. These people would often rather work deviously than take straightforward action. Because of this, they make effective detectives and espionage agents who, despite their extreme caution, do not avoid danger. The enemy is ruthlessly tracked down, whether this be a criminal or a psychoneurosis, a flaw in a machine, the germ of a disease, a fallacy in a theory, or an error in reasoning. They will continue analyzing and testing in a dogged, impersonal way until the culprit is exposed. Saturn in Scorpio people can have serious emotional repression issues and deep psychological complexes relating to financial security, sex, and the disposal of wastes. These people do not like to betray their personal feelings, even when their inner life is in a turmoil. No one would guess what is going on in the depths of these people. The basic way that these people work is to stand silently in the background and observe the fuss and commotion of human affairs without becoming overly involved. They like to live their lives flying under the radar, so to speak, and yet they are keenly perceptive and capable of enforcing their demands once they decide what should be done. These people are no pushovers, no matter what their external personas may imply. Saturn and Scorpio people seldom play lightly with the affections of others, and they expect their own highly sensitive feelings to be treated with respect. In matters of love, their passions are fixed and enduring, but there can be a domineering and jealous insistence upon having their own way. These people are intensely proud, though seldom vain. They hate being wrong and like even less to admit it when they are. If they are ever deceived by their beloved, they can reveal a streak of cruelty, making them capable of premeditated revenge. Or they can retreat into a shell and resolve to forego the uncertain business of love altogether. Saturn and Scorpio people are very forceful characters, although they usually will not show this aspect of their personalities. This is because they are shrewd and know precisely when an agreeable and pleasant facade will create the desired effect. In most of the relationships that they form, there is usually an ulterior motive. Basically, these people are loners, so when they reach out to others, they can be fairly sure that they have more in mind than friendship or simple interest in mind. These people are by nature serious, painstaking, and secretive. A great deal goes on inside of them that no one on earth ever hears about. They suppress their emotions deliberately and control themselves with rigorous persistence. What results is that most of their true self is concealed, and they appear something of an enigma to others. Ultimately speaking, their basic drive is for power, and they are more dangerous than the average power seeker because they have learned the crucial secret of achieving power, which is to first gain power over themselves. Saturn and Scorpio people have incredibly intense emotions that burn inside of them with a suppressed fury. This rigid control holds, and as the pressure builds up, the need to express the creative force becomes intense, and the person is propelled towards art, domination, mystical achievement, lawlessness, or sexual gratification. For the most part, though, they are quite fortunate. Saturn dampens the destructive potential of this energy pattern and generally allows it to be harnessed in dynamic but socially acceptable ways. These people like to work behind the scenes. Their subtle and penetrative mind is ideally suited for manipulating others and for solving all kinds of mysteries. In the sciences, they can apply this faculty as a geologist or archaeologist, probing the secrets of the past, or as an astronomer, probing time and space. They may also excel in microscopic research or psychiatric, mysticism, and the occult sciences, which also intrigue them because they like to penetrate the depths of the mind and emotions. Training is critical for these people so that they can marshal their innate capabilities into an effective method. In matters of the heart, these people are extremely passionate and liable to suffer excruciating jealousy. These people are true to their loved ones and expect their fidelity in return. When betrayed in love, they will hit out cruelly, wait patiently to take revenge, or withdraw into themselves and suffer in searing but dignified silence. These people are by nature proud, but they are not arrogant. They are haughty, but not vain. They are fiercely determined and fixed in their attitudes. These people have a violent temper, but they usually manage to keep it under an ironclad control. They regard their independence as inviolable and can react violently if someone attempts to curtail it. Saturn and Scorpio people are seldom as cool, calm, and collected as they appear to the casual observer. Sometimes they are swamped by feelings of failure and insecurity, though they usually manage to conquer these by the sheer power of their will. Whatever these people decide to do, they usually do it purposefully, for they refuse to expend their energies on frivolities. Even when playing a game, they are aware that they are gaining physical or mental prowess. These people make it a point to observe their performance closely in order to rectify mistakes others would let pass. This habit of deliberate, cultivated personal awareness often leads to the success that they crave. I have a great many videos now on many different topics, so I've decided to make several different video playlists so that it's easy to find the videos of greatest interest. So please check out my playlist page. Well, that's it for now. To stay up to date with my latest videos, make sure to subscribe to this free YouTube channel by clicking the red subscribe button right below this video. Take care.